Texas Governor Greg Abbott taking the border crisis into his own hands.
Now directing state law enforcement to start arresting illegal immigrants for trespassing.
National Border Council President Brandon Judd joins us now to react. Brandon?
Hey, Brandon, good morning.
Hi, Rachel. How are you?
So tell us what this will do. I mean, now the state of Texas is going to arrest people. Do you think this will solve the problem? Is it enough?
It's not going to solve the problem, but you have to. There's two things that you have to look at. You have to be ecstatic that a governor is stepping up and doing the job that the federal government isn't doing. He's stepping up and he's going to deliver a consequence. He's going to take a page out of the Trump playbook, and he's going to deliver a consequence for those people that are crossing the border illegally. But you have to be extremely upset that this governor is doing the job of the federal government. The Biden administration refuses to protect the American public by giving the resources to the Border Patrol that is necessary for us to secure the border. You know, as we go out and we put the uniform on as we patrol the border, if we don't have an administration that is backing us up, that is giving us those resources, then you're going to see this crisis continue to get bigger. But Governor Abbott stepping up, it's going to help Texas, but it's likely to push the illegal immigration to states like New Mexico,
Right.
Arizona, and California.
Yeah, it's like a balloon.
Hey, really quickly, Brandon, out of curiosity, so trespassing seems like an obvious charge. I'm sure it's one that can stick. Can Border Patrol enforce that? Does that have to be through state authorities, these special task force? Because that's a state crime. A federal law enforcement agency wouldn't be making those arrests, right? Or passing them along.
It's going to have to be by the state. The federal government can't enforce state laws. So the state's going to have to step in, and they're going to do it. And that's exactly what Governor Abbott is, in fact, doing.
Right.
Is there a capacity? I mean, do they have the capacity to do this? So when we see all these images on the border of Border Patrol agents dealing with migrants, they're not going to be charged with trespassing there. It's the ones that get through.
Yeah, no, it's going to have to be those individuals that are taken into custody by the state. So the people that are taken into custody by the Border Patrol, they're not going to be turned around and charged by the state. So when Texas DPS or when a county sheriff takes somebody that crosses the border illegally into custody, then they can charge those individuals with criminal trespassing. And so, yeah, it is a very good step in the right direction.
Brandon, let me ask you something else. The Biden administration said they want to do an infrastructure, bill, this huge $1 trillion bill that they want to do. However, they've stopped construction. It's one of the first things that Joe Biden did when he got into office. He stopped construction of an infrastructure project on the wall on the southern border. However, they're still paying $2 billion, I guess, to fulfill the contract and tell those companies not.
So they're paying for the wall that's not being built.
Yeah, they're paying people not to work. Is that what's happening?
Yeah, it's crazy. To avoid litigation, the Biden administration is, in fact, paying these contracting companies the money that they were scheduled to make, but they're just not doing any work for it. So, they're taking American taxpayers' money, and they're just not getting anything out of it.
More paying people not to work. That's exactly right.
And by the way, we don't have a problem at the border, that we don't need a wall. We're seeing 180,000 people come every month.
Nope.
Unbelievable.
Nope.
This
Brandon
is
Judd,
outrageous story.
thank you for breaking these down for us this morning.
Thanks, Brandon.
Thank you, Brandon.
Thank you.